Bonds hits one high. It's a deep. It is out of here. 7:56. Bonds stands alone.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open. Chicago with the lead.
Washington outside left. Roethlisberger has time. Throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by Holmes.
Minute remaining. And they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Taproom Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan. Stacks on stacks. Let's join with my man, Crazy Bones, Swerving Irving, Washington. Let's go, man. Texas, Washington just wrapped up. Quinn Ewers, dude, kind of fucking sucks, dude. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I don't know if Arch Manning is gonna start his freshman year, but
he probably won't, because the goal is to redshirt him. Then he starts.
Oh my god, this guy already fucking yawning, dude.
Yeah, he starts for 2 years after that. But I don't know. It would take Quinn Ewers just having a totally abysmal season, because the talent is there. It's just that dude's just forget how to be accurate at times, and it's just not pretty.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, he's so inconsistent. Like, he has some great games. I mean, we've talked about this throughout the year. It's like, it's hard to bet back Texas because you never know what Quinn Ewers is going to show up. Is he going to be the one versus Kansas? Or is he going to be the one, like, I mean, I wouldn't even say he was terrible tonight. Xavier Worthy had a couple bad drops. They probably would have won the game if it wasn't for those. But, this was the only bowl game I didn't bet today because, I liked Washington, but I felt like Texas had enough talent that they could overwhelm Washington. And, like, they held Washington's offense pretty well, you know what I mean? Like, they were able to contain them pretty well. But, those drops just, they hurt them.
They had some dropped touchdowns. They had some dropped interceptions that could have changed the game.
Yep.
So, just didn't capitalize. And they ended the season with 8 or 9 wins.
I think this would have been their 8th win, right? They only had 7 wins, right? They were 7-5.
Okay, well, 7-win start.
Yep. Always, dude. Always. But anyways, we didn't get to talk about those games because we got pushed back because of Christmas. So, we got a handful of games, like 2 handfuls of games to talk about tonight, including the college football playoff. Before we get into them, I do have to mention we are being brought to you by Devour. Make sure to go to Devour.com or download the Devour app straight to your mobile device. Use promo code TAPROOM for $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more. I just realized my daughter left her fucking elf in here.
You gotta love it.
That's all right. I was like, dude, what is that thing in the corner of my screen?
The gnome from Goosebumps.
Something like that. But man, excited to be here tonight. Excited for this show because we've been doing pretty well on college bowl season. I do want to mention before we get started, no double-digit bowl favorite has covered this year so far this bowl season. I think there's only been like 3 or 4.
But our boys came in with the back door.
Yep, they sure did. And honestly, Syracuse had opportunities to win that game.
Man, they should have won that game.
They kind of blew that shit, dude. But that's why they're 10-point. That's why they're 11-point dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. All right, let's get started on our first game. We got Maryland, and NC State. What bowl game is this?
This is the
Duke's Mayo Bowl.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
This is the game you don't want to win if you're a head coach because you're going to get plastered with mayo.
Yeah, they said win or lose, both coaches are doing it.
Ugh. No thanks, dude.
Shout out to Will Levis, Levi, however you pronounce his name. He puts mayo in his coffee.
What? I've heard people putting butter in their coffee, and I guess mayonnaise is like a butter substitute, but no, thank you.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I'm good off that, dude. Anyways, Maryland and NC State. Maryland 7-5 straight up, 6-6 against the spread, 5-7 to the over. NC State 8-4 straight up, 4-8 against the spread, 6-6 to the over. Maryland is currently a 1-point dog here. The total is at 46. This game is being played at Bank of America Stadium, which I believe is in Charlotte, right?
Yep.
So this is basically a home game for NC State.
Yeah, Bank of America Stadium, home of the New Carolina Panthers.
Yep. The only thing about this game, Maryland's basically got no opt-outs, or they got a few opt-outs. Raheem Jarrett, Dante Demas, Jacob Copeland. So basically all their wide receivers are out.
And they're missing their 3 top wideouts.
And Deontay Banks. And then Ahmad McCullough, who's a linebacker, has entered the transfer portal. But on the flip side, NC State is going to have a 4-string quarterback as their quarterback. You know what I mean? So I think that it kind of evens out here because at least on the, Lil 2 is definitely going to be the best quarterback in this game, right? So
yeah, he definitely has NFL talent.
Yeah, he might be a little bit better than his brother. I don't know. The one thing is, obviously NC State much better defensively. Maryland, they really, after that Michigan game, they kind of faltered, had a lot of injuries, kind of never really got going after that.
Definitely agreed.
What's your thoughts on this game?
Honestly, I just think this game comes down to whoever quarterback plays the best. And I'm going to give the team with the better quarterback the edge here because even though Maryland lost their 3 top wideouts, they are pretty damn deep at wideout. They go 8-9 deep at wideout, and I'm pretty sure they got some more talent behind those 3 that they're losing.
Yeah.
And their defense been stepping up the second half of the year. Just the offense haven't held up their end of the bargain. They've been too inconsistent with turnovers, not scoring in the red zone, and just not playing a full 60 minutes. But honestly, NC State is one of my top 4 most disappointing teams of the season. And they just lost both their quarterbacks. I think one is injured. The other one, Larry, hopped in the transfer portal. He's committed to Kentucky.
Yep. He was their starter at the beginning of the year.
He was a starter at the beginning of the year. I think it was all ACC last year.
Yeah.
So honestly, I just think that Maryland has more than enough talent to overcome a very disappointing NC State team this year.
Yeah, this game is interesting to me because, both these teams I would consider disappointing. I thought Maryland was going to not necessarily compete with Michigan and Ohio State, but I mean, they did have a chance to win that game against Michigan. And if they win that game, what does their season look like? You know what I mean?
That's true.
I did mention they were depleted with injuries after that game. I mean, they just got annihilated with injuries, but they were never really the same after that. You know what I mean? They lost to Purdue at home. They barely beat Indiana. Northwestern, they only won by a touchdown. They didn't cover. Against Wisconsin, they lost 23-10, and Wisconsin had a very disappointing season. Penn State, they got absolutely fucking destroyed. They didn't even put up any points against Penn State. And then Ohio State, they did fairly well. They did cover the number, but they lose 43-30. And then against Rutgers, they beat the fucking shit out of Rutgers, but a lot of people in the Big Ten did. But I mean, it's been the same story with Maryland, is that they can't find ways to win big games. And on top of that, they have the most astonishing ways of losing big games, dude. That worries me here, especially without your top 3 wide receivers. It does concern me. Obviously, NC State down to a 4-string quarterback, but this is basically a home game for NC State.
True, but I think, don't they have some opt-outs on defense and transfers?
I'm not seeing anyone. I only see Devin Carter, who's a wide receiver, and Devin Leary, the quarterback.
Okay.
Dave
Oh no, they
Dorn
just
is
been
5-2 against the spread in bowl games. They did lose their offensive coordinator. He took the head coaching job at Coastal Carolina, so
mm-hmm.
that's something to keep an eye on. I don't know if that plays a big factor or anything because their offense fucking sucked anyways.
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm a lean Maryland. I think they just find a way to win here. I'm a ride with Loxley, Little Tua, that offense, and I think that defense gets enough stops against a disappointed Maryland offense because that offense is nothing special.
Yeah, and Maryland's defense wasn't terrible this year.
Yeah, they got a lot better, and they got a lot better at their greatest weakness, which was rushing the passer. So
Yeah. And I mean NC State passing the ball this year was just atrocious. 78th in predicted points added, 94th in success rate. So I mean they're nothing special there.
and that was
Um,
with Leary. So imagine what they're gonna be with a fourth string guy.
NC State though very good defensively, especially against the pass. 24th in predicted points added against, fourth against explosiveness. You know the under might be honestly be the best play here.
Is it 46?
Yeah, 46 points.
That could happen, but I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna ride with Maryland here.
Irv's going Maryland. I lean Maryland. I hate this side more so the under 46. So
Yeah, if I was betting this game, it'll probably be the under or Maryland, but I'm gonna lean Maryland.
all right, let's hop into our next game. We got the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. This is going to be played between Pitt and UCLA. This is in El Paso, Texas.
Is it windy?
Currently we're seeing 10-mile-an-hour winds, so not really.
Oh, okay. Well, it'll be all right. It's usually super windy in this bowl game, and you always take the under. So since it's not going to be windy, we could expect some points this game.
Pitt is 8-point dogs here coming into this game. 8-4 straight ups, 5-7 against the spread, 9-3 to the over. UCLA 9-3 straight up, 6-6 against the spread, 8-4 to the over. What do you think about this one here?
Well, Slovis hit the transfer portal and committed to BYU. This is going to be DTR's last ride as a college QB. UCLA has most of the momentum here. They don't have a ton of opt outs or transfer portal guys, so I would lean them even with the 8 or money line because Pitt is just unpredictable and they finished the year pretty bad outside. I think they only won one of their last 3 games or 4 games, something like that. Wait, no, that was actually UCLA. Pitt actually ended the year on a 4-game winning streak, but
No, they won
they
3 of their last 4. Or
yeah,
they won 3 of their last 4 against the spread. They covered.
okay. But losing Slovis though, I don't like that. Especially the offense was already not that great, and losing him is not going to help them at all.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of guys opting out of this bowl game. But one thing I have noticed in these games is like the teams that have a lot of opt outs, they have these guys that just step up because they're playing for their future, dude, and like they're honestly doing a hell of a job. You know what I mean? Like the running back today for Syracuse, I mean, he had a hell of a game, right? Filling in for Tucker. And it's just I think, coming into this, we were putting so much into these opt outs, but the numbers already baked into it, right? Like this game would probably be closer without all those guys out. I don't know, man. I think 8 points is way too much for UCLA. I like Pitt to cover this number.
Even with no Slovis.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, who knows who's gonna step up? It's
Is the running back playing? Because I know he had like 1,400 yards.
Israel Abanakanada.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not playing.
Bro, that's like 50-60% of their offense not playing in this bowl game.
Yeah, but dude, like all these teams that have all these opt outs, people step up. They got guys
It
stepping up.
it hasn't been that big of that's you could tell tonight Texas missed Bijan and that other guy. Like
I mean, they still should have won that game in Washington.
That's true. Well, two drops did factor in key to that game, but I don't know, man. Just leading pat your best quarterback, your leading rusher. 8 points is a lot, but if you putting together a parlay builder, then I guess you go UCLA money line. But
I mean, Oregon had like a million opt outs and they won their
yeah,
game.
but we know North Carolina is pretty much Drake May and nothing else. And North Carolina was missing their three best players on defense as well.
Yeah,
But I knew that Oregon wasn't beating that team by 2 touchdowns. Drake May is too good for that.
I mean, I just think that this is too many points for UCLA, and I know it's DTR's last game. We also have to think of the motivation for UCLA. I mean, this was a team that was on the cusp of going to the Pac-12 championship, didn't even make it there. Now they're playing in the Duke Mayo Bowl.
But they don't have a lot of opt-outs, so that goes to show that this team is motivated to get a bowl win.
They don't have a lot of opt-outs because they don't have any NFL talent. And the NFL talent they do have are underclassmen. They're not eligible for the draft.
That could be true too. But this is their first bowl game in what, 3-4 years?
Is it really? Didn't they make?
Wait, they had a winning record last year. Before that, they had 3 or 4 terrible years. So, wait, did they win their bowl game last year? But anyway, I think UCLA wins this game, but they probably don't cover the 8. Yeah, unless they get some turnovers.
That's just too many points, dude. And the one common theme in these bowl games is that teams that are laying like more than a touchdown, they're not covering, dude. I like Pitt plus the 8. If you can find the 8. Plus, right now, we were talking about this before we went on air. Another common theme is, a lot of when everybody's on one side, take the opposite side. Well, right now, 71% of the bets are on UCLA and only 40% of the money. Pitt, 29% of the bets, 52% of the money.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, a lot of people expect Pitt to cover the 8.
No, that means not a lot of people expect Pitt to cover the 8. It's just a lot of money likes Pitt to cover the 8. A lot of people like UCLA to win. So majority of the people like UCLA, majority of the money like Pitt. And I'm not saying that's a tell-all sign or anything. I'm just saying that throughout this bowl season, when the public is on a side, they tend to lose, and the public is usually on favorites.
That's true, but then we got to factor in not having an NFL caliber quarterback anymore, and I don't even know who's the backup.
Their backup is dude, I literally just had it up. He's played this year.
Shout out to Central Michigan beating Michigan as a 21-point underdog.
Who?
Central Michigan beat Michigan tonight.
In basketball?
Yep, and they were a 21-point underdog.
Nick Patty.
Damn, imagine if somebody had Central Michigan money line.
Someone probably did. Nick Patty's going to get the start.
Nick Patty, okay. Hamburger Patty.
Hamburger Patty. He only has 79 yards this year. He hasn't really thrown any passes. But, I mean, he's been in
Did Wayne opt out, the wide receiver?
Who?
Jaden Wayne, their best wide receiver.
No, he's playing.
Okay.
They had a few defensive opt-outs. They had a couple offensive opt-outs, but really it's just Israel Abani Kanda and Keaton Slovis.
All right, well, let's see. Like you said, the public's on UCLA. Let's take the underdog. Let's go Pitt with the points.
Phil Jerkovich has transferred to Pitt. He'll be their quarterback next year.
Yeah, but he can't play in this bowl game.
Former Boston College quarterback.
And he fell off bad this year, too.
Well, I mean, dude, that team stunk, dude.
That's true.
I knew the first game when Rutgers fucking went toe-to-toe with them, I was like, oh, this team not very good, dude.
Yeah, they got problems.
Not very good. You gotta have talent. You know what I mean? And especially you gotta have a decent offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move into our next game. We got Notre Dame versus South Carolina in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. What a name, dude! I love bowl names, man.
Yeah, Chancellor Gator Bowl is going to be played in Jacksonville at TIA Bank Field.
In Duval County, Notre
Duval.
Dame currently laying 3.5. The total is 50. What do you think about this one?
Drew Pine hit the portal and committed to Arizona State. Spencer Rattler opted in. I don't know if Lloyd opted in, their leading rusher from South Carolina. I think Wells Jr. is playing.
No,
And
Marshawn Lloyd is not playing.
okay, and I think Mayer opted out too for the draft, right?
Mayer did opt out. Michael Mayer did opt out.
Well, that means Notre Dame is going to lean heavily on their run game. Now, South Carolina doesn't have the greatest defense, but they do have enough on defense to stop the run. They're only giving up 123 yards a game. So I think no wait, they're actually giving up 192 a game. They rush for 123 a game. So this could be a give and take type of game. But if Spencer Rattler shows up the way he did against South Carolina, I mean Clemson and Tennessee, I think South Carolina can win this game handily because I don't think Notre Dame got enough at the QB position to keep up.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Um, who else? So Drew Pine's out, Jacob Lacey's out, Ekwanu's out, Jaden Bellamy's out. They got a lot of guys out. Notre Dame's defense obviously pretty good, but they're 92nd. Or I'm sorry, 92nd against the rush in predictive points added, 20th against a pass. I think a lot of it does have to do with what South Carolina's going to do. South Carolina also wasn't very good against the run this year. Obviously, that's going to be something that
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame's going to rely heavily on. This is another game where I kind of lean South Carolina, but I almost want to take the under more than anything.
Yeah, it might not get to 50, honestly. I can see this being like a 24-17 game or 24-21, something like that.
Yeah. And the over's gone in the total's gone over in 6 of Notre Dame's last games. In all 6 of them. And the over is 5-1 in South Carolina's last games. But you look at who South Carolina played: Clemson, Tennessee, Florida, Vanderbilt, and then Mizzou went under. And then you look at who Notre Dame played: USC, Boston College. And the only reason why Boston College game went over, it was 42, and Notre Dame scored 44. Navy, it was 41. Navy put up 35. Notre Dame 32. I mean, actually, I don't know about the over now that I look at this. Or the under. Might lean the over.
Oh, yeah. It's either the over or you taking South Carolina plus 3.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, bro. I kind of like South Carolina plus a 3.5.
I
Hopefully
don't like the way Notre Dame entered the season.
Yeah, and hopefully Spencer Rattler shows the fuck up because
he has to. This game is going to be pivotal to his offseason and building towards if he goes to the draft. I think he is going to go to the draft
this year.
Or did he opt back in for next year?
I mean, he could still opt out, but
yeah,
if he has a good showing, it would definitely improve his draft stock. I mean, he's one of the guys where it's like he should definitely.
He's gonna get drafted, but he's definitely gonna be a boomer buzz guy.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's move on to our next game. We have the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl between Ohio and Wyoming. This is gonna be tomorrow, December 30th. Wyoming is currently 2.5-point dogs. Ohio minus 2.5. This game's being played in Arizona Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. What do you think about this one? Obviously, the best weather of all the games.
The best weather. Ohio did in the year. I think they won 4 or 5 in a row before they lost to Toledo in the.
Curtis Rourke is still out, by the way.
they haven't been looking too bad without him. They just didn't look good against what's the name without him. Toledo, they lost 17-7. But Wyoming, man, is just I don't know, it's not that good. If you look at I watched Ohio play like 2, 3 times this year, and they actually with Warwick, they're actually pretty decent. But if this backup could just muster some type of offense, I think they win this game.
Yeah, Harris. Well, the thing with Harris is like he's more of a runner than he is a thrower.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest thing. But Wyoming, they're not good against the run. 93rd predictive points added against the run, which isn't very good considering you have a running quarterback. And on the flip side, Wyoming's really good at running the ball, 50th in predictive points added running, but Ohio is 40th in predictive points against, 36 in success rate. They do give up explosive plays though, which is kind of a concern.
And the over is only 41. Should I say take this over?
Yeah, I'd probably lean the over here, especially because you have like nice weather.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Wyoming isn't very good offensively. Neither of their quarterbacks are very good.
Yeah, the Peasley has only thrown for 1,300 yards,
And
9 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions.
look at his completion percentage.
He's 126 for 245. So that's damn.
He's barely over 50%.
Yeah, he's barely over 50%.
That's an issue.
Yeah, I think give me Ohio minus the 2.5.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, this is either Ohio or a no play. Plus, to be honest, Mountain West has looked terrible in these bowl games, dude.
They have.
San Diego State lost.
Utah State got their ass creamed.
They got demolished. And then who else? Air Force is the only one that looked good. They beat Baylor.
Yeah, they beat Baylor.
Who else was the other one?
Fresno
San Jose
State. Good.
Oh yeah, Fresno State won. San Jose State looked like shit too.
Yeah.
So play this at your own peril. I mean, this is a Wyoming team that beat Colorado State by 1 point. This is a Wyoming team that beat Hawaii by 7 points.
Yeah. Give me Ohio.
And Wyoming, historically, great at home, not good away from home. All right. Let's move on to our next game. We got Tennessee versus Clemson in the Capital One Orange Bowl. This is being played in Miami, Florida. This is a New Year's. Well, it's being played on Friday, but usually this one's played on New Year's Day.
Yeah, so this part is New Year's 6.
This one is between Tennessee and Clemson. This game's at 8 p.m. Eastern, so 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time kickoff. Tennessee comes in this game 10-2, 9-3 against the spread, 7-5 to the over. Clemson 11-2 straight up, 7-6 against the spread, 7-6 to the over. Currently, Clemson's laying 6 points here. What do you think here?
I think that this could be low key could turn into a shootout because Clemson offense with Clay Klubnik looks totally different than with DJ. They move the ball better, they score more points. But Tennessee has a bend but don't break defense. So I think they might be able to stifle the freshman a little bit. He is a freshman, so he's going to have some. He hasn't, and plus he didn't play in that many games, so he might make some freshman mistakes in this bowl game. So you gotta look out for that. But Tennessee's backup looked pretty damn good those last 2 games, and he's facing the Clemson defense that has a good amount of opt outs. So I think I like Tennessee with the points. The over under is 63. It might not get that high, but I could see it hit. I could see the over hitting too.
Yeah, I'm not that high. Tennessee, they're not gonna have Hyatt. They're not gonna have Tillman. They're not gonna have Jeremy Banks. Obviously, no Hendon Hooker. Tennessee also loses Alex Galish to South Florida, where he'll be the head coach. Joe
Is he
Milton.
coaching? Is he coaching the bowl game?
No, I don't think so. And Joe Milton, he was only 11-21 for 147 yards when he played in against Vanderbilt. I kind of like Clemson here, dude, and I hate fucking taking favorites in bowl games, but I think Cade Klubnik is good. I think he has enough to get it done, and I just think that I don't know.
What about the defense though? Don't they got? I know Miles Murphy opted out.
Yeah, Trenton Simpson opted out.
Did
And then they lost a
did,
couple guys to the transfer portal, but they didn't really play.
did Breesy opt out?
No, nope.
Hmm.
They only have 2 opt outs, and then they got a couple guys in the transfer portal, but like I said, they're not. They didn't really have like a ton of production.
So you gonna take Clemson money line, or you taking them -6?
Mm. I kind of lean Clemson -6. This game is it's kind of I don't know, man.
Don't gotta worry about weather. It's in Miami. It's gonna be 74 degrees.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to worry about weather. I just think Clemson is more of a complete team at this point. And I mean, they demolished North Carolina, dude.
Yeah, they destroyed North Carolina.
And Cade Klubnik looked good in that game.
He did.
I just think they have too much talent. Like if Hendon Hooker was playing this game, I mean, we're talking a totally different game, dude.
Yeah, hands down.
We're talking different. So I lean Clemson minus the points. Don't love it though. You're taking you like Tennessee?
Yeah, I'll take Tennessee with the points.
You're crazy, bro. All right.
Or the over. I kind of like the over, honestly.
63.5.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I feel like every time like I love an over, like
It
Texas versus Washington and North Carolina versus Oregon, it's like it's hella low scoring, dude. Like the under was never in doubt in that Oregon game last night.
Oh yeah.
That shit didn't even come close to the over, dude.
Yeah, that over was way too high. I think it was like 70, right?
It was 70 points, and tonight was 66.5 and didn't even come close.
Yeah, I knew I knew this game was going under because as far as like the build up and everybody was going to zero in on how good the offenses was. I knew both defenses was going to step up big time.
Yeah, but we didn't know Xavier Worthy was gonna drop 2 fucking passes right in his fucking hands, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, it'd be like that sometime. You win some, you lose some.
That's true. All right, let's move on to Kentucky and Iowa. This is the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. This is going to be played on New Year's Eve, Saturday, December 31st. This is obviously going to be played between Kentucky and Iowa. This is going to be the morning game, so you could wake up early with some coffee and watch some Iowa football. What's better than that, dude?
Bro, the over-under for this game is 31.
Yeah, and it might go under.
This is a service academy game type over under.
I will say this though, Petrus isn't playing, so Iowa might be able to score some points.
Yeah, and Will Levis opted out, and I don't even know who's Kentucky backup QB, to be honest with you.
He played when Levis was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Wade.
All right, well, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and go over because it's 31 points. That's way too less. This is college. 31.
Yeah, I mean Iowa doesn't really score a ton of points, though. You know what I mean? Like
I know, but they should be able to score against Kentucky's defense.
And these are 2 solid defenses. Let's not get that twisted. These are 2.
Yeah, they are solid. Kentucky only gave up 16 against Georgia. But then they gave up 44 against Tennessee.
Let me see here.
Iowa is only giving up more than 20 points 3 times, I think. Purdue, Wisconsin, and Ohio State.
Yeah, in Kentucky, I mean, they don't give up a ton of points unless outside of that Tennessee game.
Yeah, but this over under is just too low for me, bro.
33rd predicted points added against the rush, 18th in success rate, 23rd in predicted points added against the pass, 28th in success rate. I mean, they're a solid defense. And then Iowa on the flip side, I mean, dude, they're top 10, 15 in both passing
Yeah.
and defense. I actually
So
like
yeah,
Iowa here, dude.
you like the under?
No, I like Iowa minus at 2.5.
Okay.
I think they're gonna win and cover, and not having Petrus I think is a fucking ultra benefit for them, dude. Because that dude fucking sucks, dog.
That's facts.
I wonder what he's gonna do next after football.
Did he hop in the transfer portal?
God, I hope not, dude. I don't know if anyone would pick him up outside of
Well,
like
they,
an
well,
FCS team.
they gonna be upgrade at quarterback next year. They got Kate Bear.
Yeah, that's definitely an upgrade, and that's crazy saying that. So I mean, dude couldn't even take JJ McCarthy over.
Well, those legs make JJ a different animal, so I see why Michigan stuck with him.
True. Yeah, but the thing is like he's so inaccurate passing the ball,
But he could throw a good deep ball, so that'll make up for the short shit.
and he misses so many guys all the time, dude. Like
I know
right
he's
in
a
front of
white
him.
Rod Richardson from Florida.
Dude, he really is. All right, let's move on to our next game. We got Bama versus K-State. This is also on New Year's Eve, the All-State Sugar Bowl. This is between Alabama and Kansas State. Alabama laying 6.5 right now. Kansas State catching the 6.5. This is an interesting game to me because I think that like Kansas State has a lot of motivation factor, considering that Nick Saban was on television talking about how like no all these Big 12 schools don't really deserve to get in and all this shit.
Yeah, sure. He was lobbying hard to make that playoff, buddy.
Yep, and he's losing a lot of guys, dude. Trayshawn Holden's out, JoJo Earl's out, Christian Leary's out, Trey Sanders is out, Javion Cohen's out, Tommy Brockmeyer's out, Damian George is out, Kyrie Jackson's out. Bryce Young and Will Anderson are gonna play. But what do you think about this game here?
Yeah, like you said, it's gonna be a lot of motivation for Kansas State. They're gonna be out to prove something that they can play with the big boys. Motivation might be a factor for Bama because when they're not in the playoff, the last time they wasn't in the playoff, I think they was playing against Oklahoma and they lost to Oklahoma. So um I think the over has a good chance of hitting because both of these offenses are pretty damn good, and both defenses can get lackadaisical at times. And Bama's secondary can definitely be had. It's not the same as it's been the past couple of years. Um, Honestly, if I was betting, I either go to over or I'll ride Kansas State plus the 6.5. We don't know what we're going to get from Bama's defense, so that's my biggest question mark. We know KSU is a solid team. They're going to play solid defense. They're a pretty damn good offense. They got some game breakers, especially that running back. He's a problem, so you better pay attention to him.
Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, Deuce Vaughn ain't no joke. So
Deuce.
I like Kansas State, but plus the 6.5.
So do I, man. I think Kansas State. I think they have more to play for. Like, Bama coming into the season was expected to win the national championship. This was a very down year for them, and it's unusual for Nick Saban for us to be saying that. Like expectations were high, they didn't meet expectations at all. I don't know how much how much motivation Will Anderson Jr. has in this game. I don't know how much expectation or how much motivation Bryce Young has. I don't know how much.
These two are both projected to go 1-2 in the draft. So.
Yes, I don't understand the motivation for them to play this game is. You know what I mean? They're probably being like told by Nick Saban like, oh, he's probably fucking breathing down their neck about it. But I just, after hearing Nick Saban say that shit about the Big 12 and how like they didn't deserve to be in there, I think that K-State, they have a lot to play for, dude, because they basically got told that they didn't deserve to be in the playoff, that TCU didn't deserve to be in the playoff, and
Yeah, Bama basically saying that they don't belong on the field with them. So we're
Yep.
gonna find out.
That's whiteboard material for 2 weeks, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna find out on Saturday.
I'm with you about the over though. I think the over is a pretty solid bet, but I like K State plus a 6.5. That's definitely my best bet here. I think that I think it's gonna be a closer game than most people expect, dude. This is one of those games where like the average viewer, the average fan is gonna be like, "Oh, Bama, K State, 6.5." Like, oh, they're gonna blow K State out of the water.
Yeah.
Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast. Deuce Vaughn gonna have a big game. I don't know if Spencer, or Adrian Martinez is gonna play. It doesn't even matter because Will Howard is a better quarterback.
Yeah,
in my
Will Howard
opinion.
is nice. I like him a lot.
So I think that benefits K State there. I like K
They
State.
might win the Big 12 again next year.
Yep. Well, they're gonna lose Deuce Vaughn, so that's a huge loss.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt.
That's gonna be a huge loss. All right, it's time to move into college football playoffs. First game we got TCU versus Michigan, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. This is obviously between teams 2 and 3. Michigan being number 2, Texas Christian being number 3. The Horned Frogs. Michigan laying 7.5. Michigan comes in this game 13-0 straight up, 8-4-1 against the spread, 5-8 to the over. TCU 12-1 straight up, 9-3-1 against the spread, 7-6 to the over. What are we thinking here? Does TCU have a chance?
TCU definitely has a chance. They went up against a pretty damn good defense in Kansas State and was able to put points on them and hang with them and score. Now Michigan has a good defense, but we know that secondary can be had, and that's probably if they did have a weakness on defense, it will be their secondary. So I think Texas Christian has to test that out early and often. And Michigan never hasn't really gone up against a dual threat like Max Duggan. They haven't played against a QB that can run it and throw it like this guy can. Now with Max though, you got to watch out for those little nicks for injuries and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
out of him getting nicked up, I think Texas Christian is going to give Michigan all they can handle. Honestly,
My heart tells me TCU. My mind tells me Michigan.
yeah, especially but Michigan with no Blake Corum though.
It doesn't matter, dude. I think those other guys have been just as good, dude.
Yeah, they
if
did
not
look
better.
good versus Ohio State, but I don't know, man. I'm not gonna count We counted TCU out a lot this year.
We do, but the one thing is that TCU's 88th in predicted points added against the rush. Now they're facing one of the best rushing teams in the country. That's what kind of concerns me, dude. And Michigan has dominated the trenches of every fucking team they play.
That's true. This team is damn good in the trenches, but we did see a Purdue team that hung with them with Aiden O'Connell at QB, and Duggan is a better QB than he is by a mile. So
I don't know about that. By a mile?
yeah, I like Max Duggan, man. He proved
Aiden
me wrong
O'Connell's
this
a
year.
better passer than Max Duggan.
Yeah, he's a better passer, but Duggan isn't a bad passer at all.
Nah.
30 touchdowns, 4 INTs.
It worries me that Michigan is just gonna wear TCU's
Now that could be the
down.
problem. Now we don't know if what's the name is built for tough in the trenches to hang with a team like Michigan in over 4 quarters. That could be their downfall. But I don't see TCU getting blowed out here, so I think it's gonna be a close game.
I'm gonna go Michigan minus the 7.5, and I wanted to bet against Michigan so fucking bad after how fucking they did me against Purdue, dog. That was some fucking bullshit, dude. And karma is gonna bite them in the ass, and we're gonna get to that momentarily.
Not against TCU.
Yep, because Ohio State's going to beat Georgia, and then it's going to be Ohio State versus Michigan for the national championship, and Ohio State's going to fucking blow the doors off them boys.
Dang.
Mark my words, baby. Ohio State national champions. I said it here on this show live. Ohio State national champions.
That could definitely happen. I wouldn't argue against that.
So speaking of that, let's move into our next game. We got Georgia against Ohio State. I just lost it. Here we go. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Ohio State versus Georgia. Ohio State catching 6.5. Coming into this game 11-1, 5-6-1 against the spread, 9-3 to the over. Georgia 13-0 straight up, 7-6 against the spread. Now the reason why I like Ohio State here is because outside of the Tennessee game, I haven't been very impressed with Georgia all season. They were beating Florida, almost let Florida come back into that game. They almost lost at Mizzou. They were losing that game in the second half. Now, Georgia has a lot of talent. I won't deny that. They got a lot of talent. But Stetson Bennett is still their fucking quarterback, dude. All right. And Ohio State has just as much talent on both sides of the ball. And this is by far the best offense they will see all season long. Even better than Tennessee.
Yeah, because if you look at that SEC championship game, LSU threw for over 500 yards against Georgia.
Yep.
And no quarterback on LSU roster even comes close to CJ Stroud. So,
and this is a big game for CJ Stroud too, Irv, because he has not performed well in big games. Well, I shouldn't say he hasn't performed well, but he hasn't performed up to standards.
Yeah, people are really trying to hold that against him. Even they say some scouts are trying to hold that against him, which honestly, I don't think you should factor that in. He's he's one of the most consistent QBs in the country, and if you give him time, I think. But one thing with CJ, I want him to start taking more advantage, using his athleticism, because he's a good athlete. He just wants to stick to the script, and
he's the black Derek Carr, dude.
Yeah, he runs the offense that the game plan that his coaches put out there to a T, and you can't hold that against him. But if he started using his athleticism, that offense would
open up a whole dimension, dude. It would open up a whole new dimension.
Yeah, so I think if they were to throw a wrinkle in the game that Georgia wasn't preparing for, would be running him on some read options, or letting him do some quick screens, or even run some QB draws out of 5 wide or something like that. Because if they throw a monkey wrench like that in the game and Georgia's not prepared for it, that's going to get them thinking and worried about him running the ball, and they're not going to be able to stick with them wide receivers because they are missing Jackson Smith and Jimba, but Ohio State, hands down, got the deepest, most talented wide receiver core in the country.
And another thing we're not even mentioning is that this is a big game for Ryan Day, because there's a lot of rumors that if he loses this game, he's gonna lose his job, and Urban Meyer is gonna be coming back. I don't know how true that is, but
but even then, I wouldn't, man. I would make Hartline the head coach before I went back and hired Urban Meyer. Yeah. But that's another talk for another day. Honestly, I think this is all right for the picking for Ohio State to take advantage and could pull off the upset here, because all the pressure is on Georgia. Ohio State is just as talented. Nobody's giving them a shot to win.
Nobody, dude. Nobody's giving them a shot.
So, and that's when reminds me of when they played
Clemson.
When they played Clemson 2 years ago, nobody gave them a shot to win. Everybody thought it was going to be Clemson, Alabama for the third year in a row. And Ohio State went in there and beat the hell out of Clemson. So I'm thinking this is the same thing. The same thing is going to happen Saturday with Ohio State versus Georgia.
Yep. Love Ohio State in this spot, dude. I've already bet it like fucking 6 times, dude, since the line opened. Yeah, I just think they're being doubted. And to be honest, I think this is the one team that nobody wanted to face in the playoff. I think Georgia would have much rather seen USC than Ohio State.
I definitely agree.
And now they're getting Ohio State, and like you said, dude, everybody's down them, and that's the worst spot you want to be in as an opposing team. You know what I mean? So I love Ohio State here. Not only have I bet Ohio State minus 6.5, I bet an exacta plus 650 on Ohio State to beat Michigan in the national championship, and I bet Ohio State plus 350 to win the national championship. I love Ohio State in this spot, man. I think this is, it's there. I thought coming into the season, I thought they were gonna win the national title. You know, I thought they were my favorite to win it, and now they're in the playoff. They snuck in, and now I think they can get there, dude.
I definitely agree.
And I also don't want to see Stetson Bennett win a fucking another national title, dog. That dude's so mid, bro.
Oh
so
man,
mid.
it's funny because he is. That dude had no business being in.
Dude, he looks so out of place, bro. You know that dragon meme where it's like the fierce dragons, and it's that one that's like, that's him, dude. That's him, bro. He had no business being there, dog.
It's crazy.
It's the crazier thing to think about is that if Georgia had a legit quarterback, that's how talented this team is, dude. If they had a legit quarterback,
if they had a CJ or a Caleb, no game would be within 2 touchdowns.
it would be nasty, especially with like Brock Bowers and company in there.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next bowl. This one's gonna be on January 2nd on Monday. This is Mississippi State against Illinois. This is going to be in Raymond James Stadium. This is the ReliaQuest Bowl. This bowl game is going to be interesting because Mississippi State's obviously going to be playing with heavy hearts, and I don't know if that's going to benefit them and motivate them, or I don't know if that's going to be too much to overcome. You know, I think it's a difficult place to be in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially losing your head coach in bowl game. I'm pretty sure Mike was putting something together when that untimely situation happened to him. So rest in peace again to Mike Leach. Honestly, I think it's going to benefit. I think they're just going to bring the team together. They're going to play for him. They might not win, but I definitely think that they definitely can win.
They're the favorites, -1.5.
They're -1.5, and I think Illinois won't have Chris Brown, their running back, right?
Let me see.
I know he hurt his ankle at the end of the year. It was like a high ankle sprain or something like that.
Let me see here. Where is Illinois at? Oh, here we go. Illinois. Yeah, Chase Brown has opted out.
Yeah, so and that's a big part of their offense. DeVito can be had. I like Mississippi State pass rush against his O line. His O line isn't good at pass blocking. They're pretty good at run blocking though. So Michigan State definitely has to hold up against the run, and try to muster some type of because Illinois has a good defense. So
yes, they do.
So Mississippi State definitely has to put up some points against that defense to win.
Yeah, I think this line is pretty accurate. Like, I definitely think Mississippi State has more talent overall, right? So I think the line is pretty accurate. However, it's like I said, there's that factor with the Mike Leach, and you know, sometimes when you're playing with a heavy heart, like yeah, you're motivated to play for that guy, but it's still a lot of emotion to overcome. I lean Mississippi State here, but that's also a very biased side of my take here. And I'm going to be completely honest because I want to see Mississippi State win this game. I do not want to see them lose this game at all. And I don't think anybody...
I want to see them win too. Honestly, I think Will Rogers could easily step up and take over this game. Bro has 34 touchdowns and 6 INTs. He just has to show up, play his game. And I think Mississippi State has more than enough to win, especially with Illinois not having Chris Brown, because the last time we seen Illinois against a good / up to par defense is when they played Michigan. They only lost 19-17 to Michigan, but it was some real questionable calls that went Illinois' way in that game. So, and then they lost to Purdue, they lost to Mississippi State, which that was a bad loss. Honestly, they lost 3 out of their last 5. I think Mississippi State should win this game. I'm gonna go with Mississippi State. Give me Mississippi State.
Yeah, I want Mississippi State too. Just like I said, dude, this has nothing to do with a good handicap, and I'm not telling anybody to take this game based on what I'm saying. We need Mississippi State to win this game.
It's at Raymond James Stadium. It's gonna be 76 degrees. Yeah, give me Mississippi State. I think Will Rogers and company brings it home. I'm not impressed by what I saw with Illinois the last couple of weeks of the season, especially that loss versus well, almost they almost lost to Michigan State. So yeah, give me Mississippi State. Rest in peace, Mike Leach. Bring it home,
Let's bring it.
Bulldogs.
Let's bring it home for the Pirate. Agreed. All right, let's move into our next game. Also on January 2nd, this is the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic between Tulane and the University of Southern California Trojans. Both teams 11-2 coming into this game. Tulane 11-2 against the spread. USC 8-5 against the spread. Currently USC -2. What do you think about here?
Long as USC comes in motivated and Caleb Williams is healthy, I just don't. Tulane is damn good at running the ball, but every team that's a damn good running team that played against USC didn't have nowhere near the production that they had before or during that game. So outside of that, them running for damn near 200 and some yards, I don't see this offense being good enough passing the ball to keep up with USC.
Yeah, but when you're able to run the ball, you can control the clock. You can kind of control the game flow. That's what does concern me about this game. I lean USC if especially if Caleb is healthy, because obviously they're gonna be able to fucking score. They score on anybody. It doesn't matter who they play. And they would have blown the brakes off of Utah if Caleb doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, it was 17-3, and that's one thing that everybody misses that game. But yeah,
It
give
is
me
what it is.
USC.
USC can't tackle for shit though.
Well, they have 4 weeks to tackle, so
We'll see if they worked on it because they haven't fucking worked on that shit all fucking year. I lean you.
honestly, I wouldn't even say we can't tackle. It's just reared his head at the wrong time. And dudes was out there playing hero ball. Instead of wrapping up, they was trying to punch the ball out. And yeah, that second half of that Utah game just didn't go nowhere near as planned as the rest of our season. But I think if they come in and play what they play within themselves and play the way they're supposed to play, the way they was taught to play, USC could handily win this game.
They should handily win this game. Should be no doubt. But
Even with the opt outs, I know Voorhees was hurt and Nealon got hurt too, so we're gonna be missing the center and our left guard. But 4 weeks, coach up the other guys behind him. I think USC should win this game.
one can only hope. I got no play on this game, but lean
Yeah, and even
USC.
Addison opting out, we still 9-10 deep at wide.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Addison because Michael Jackson is back there, and when Addison was out, Michael Jackson showed out, dude. Love that kid. Las Vegas.
Yeah, give me USC -2 money line. Just let's ride.
All right, we got our final big spread game here, Irv.
I don't like it.
We got LSU laying 14.5 to Purdue.
Even with a backup QB.
No
Purdue.
coach, backup QB. What do you think? What do you think about this game? 14.5 points.
Even with a backup QB,
The Cheez-It Bowl.
Purdue probably hasn't been blown out all year, and I don't think they get blown out now. LSU, I think Keyshawn Booty opted out, right?
Booty, he did say he's gonna go to the yeah, he did opt out. He's going to the draft.
Okay, did A.T. Perry opt out for Purdue?
No, but Charlie Jones did.
Charlie Jones opted out?
Yeah. That's why Aiden O'Connell opted out.
Yeah, I like the under 56, honestly.
Dude, so LSU has Jay Ward out, Gerard Jenkins, BJ Ajulari, Ali Gay, Jacqueline Roy, and Keyshawn Boot all opted out. And then the transfer portal opt-outs, they have Jack Beck, Cole Taylor, Cam Wire, Marcus Doomerville, so that's 2 offensive linemen. Cam Wire played 117 snaps. Desmond Little and Jalen Davis Robinson So of their opt outs, Jackson Beck, Jay Ward, Gerard Jenkins, B.J. Oldgery, Ali Gay, Jacqueline Roy, and Keyshawn Boot are probably the most impactful.
And I think Taylor was a starter at tight end, right? Ain't that Jason Taylor's son, the kid?
Nah, he did start at tight end. He's our blocking tight end. He's not Mason Taylor though. Mason Taylor is Jason Taylor's kid.
Okay, didn't he enter the transfer portal or he opted out?
Cole Taylor entered the transfer portal, not playing in this game.
Okay, Mason Taylor's playing now.
Yeah, that's Jason Taylor's kid.
Okay, cool.
And Jaden Daniels, remember, he was hurt in that Georgia game in a walking boot.
Is he playing?
They say he's playing, but he was last seen in a walking boot, was replaced in the SEC championship.
Yeah, I like the under. Give me the under. I'm not betting. It's either the under or Purdue plus 14 and a half.
Yeah, that's so many points, dude. And we haven't had it like we've been talking about. We haven't had a single team cover a double-digit spread.
Yeah, I'm not going with that. Either I'm not betting it or I'm giving Purdue the upper hand. Well, picking Purdue to cover the spread 14 and a half. That's too many points.
Yeah, 56 is way too many points, dude. Give me the fucking under in that one.
Yeah, that's why either under or the
All right. Let's move on to our next game. We have the Rose Bowl not being played on January 1st, dude. What the fuck? This doesn't even make sense.
That's how it goes now.
This is between Penn State and Utah. Utah laying 2. Totals at 52.5. What do you think about this one?
This one is going to come down to what defense plays better, missing their best players because
Joey Porter Jr. is out. Tavion Thomas, Dalton Cade, Clark Phillips. I actually like Utah in this game, man. I don't know why.
No Kincaid, no Phillips.
Dude, Penn State can't beat good teams, dude. They never do under Franklin.
I know, but who's the opt-outs for Penn State?
Joey Porter Jr., backup quarterback Christian Value, Rodney I mean, they don't have any crazy opt-outs, but
I don't know, but man, Utah not having Kincaid, man, that totally throws off their offense because without him or Katie, that offense is not gonna look the same. Now they're gonna be depending on Vele and a dude they just moved from safety to running back. If anything, I'll bet the under, but I wouldn't mind seeing Utah win. But man, they can't win big games either. Look at that game against Ohio State last year. That was up 21-7.
Yeah, Ohio State's a lot better than this Penn State team, though.
But I'm just saying, it's still a Big Ten team, and Penn State took that Ohio State team to the wire. If it wasn't for JT Tuimoloau playing the game of his life, that game was easily headed to overtime.
James Franklin just finds ways to lose big games. So,
but I'm not trusting Kyle Whittingham more than I trust. I don't trust Kyle Whittingham more than I trust Franklin. And what's the name been playing mid the whole second half of the season ever since that USC game. He ain't been the same QB.
Yeah, I think Cam Rising was a little overrated coming into the season, to be honest, because of that Rose Bowl he had last year.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah, especially Utah fans, y'all overrated the shit out of Cam Rising. I don't know, man. I just think Penn State makes enough plays to win because Utah's secondary was already dirt, and now they're not gonna have their best cornerback. So, and I think that's gonna hurt Utah more than it's gonna hurt Penn State because Penn State has more talent lined up behind Joey Porter Jr. than Utah has behind Clark Phillips. So, if it comes down to offense, I trust Penn State's offense a little bit more than Utah, especially with the opt-outs.
That's just tough for me, dude, because I liked what I've seen from Utah. And obviously, Thomas didn't play in the Pac-12 championship. Dalton Kincaid was playing with, like, one shoulder. He wasn't even that effective.
Listen to him, though. They not going to be the same offense without Kincaid. And they have they have zero threats on the outside. Penn State corners could fall asleep and not have to worry about covering their wide receivers. Everything is going to be up the middle in the run game. They probably might try to run some screens, some reverses, try to get a little innovative, but They just don't have the weapons on the outside for anybody to take them seriously.
We'll see what happens, Irv. I'm gonna lean Utah right now.
Yeah, Kincaid been their saving grace all damn year, honestly, especially since KG Kuthi, whatever you spell it, however you pronounce his name.
I
The
just
other
hate that this
Titan
game
who
is
was
being
actually
played on.
better than Kincaid when he got hurt.
I hate that this
Kincaid
game isn't
carried
on
that whole
theirs, dude.
offense.
That's the only thing I fucking don't. That's the only thing about this game I care about.
Granddaddy of them all, give me Penn State.
Give me Utah.
Let's go, y'all.
All right, let's get some best bets out of these games.
My best bets are gonna be give me South Carolina plus 3.5.
All right.
Ohio State plus 6.5. And
All right.
Kansas plus 6.5 versus Alabama.
Damn, dude, you suck, dog. I'm going Ohio State plus 6.5. I love that bet. I'm also gonna go K-State plus 6.5. And then I'm gonna go Iowa minus 2.5 against Kentucky, dude. And probably what will be the ugliest fucking bowl game you'll ever see in your life. We're gonna take it. Iowa minus 2.5. So Irv, you got South Carolina plus 3.5, Ohio State plus 6.5, K-State plus 6.5. I got Ohio State plus 6.5, K-State plus 6.5, and Iowa minus 2.5. Love it. Let's go. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll be back on Sunday night on New Year's Day to recap the NFL week 17 action. We want to wish everybody out there a happy new year. Be safe. Do not drink and drive. Just
Uber, Lyft,
call a tow
taxi,
truck.
whatever you need to do. Just don't get your ass behind that wheel drunk and
Yep.
fuck up somebody's new year before it even gets started.
Exactly. Do not drink and drive. Make sure to go to Tavour.com or download the Tavour app straight to your mobile device where you can use promo code TAPROOM. $10 off your first purchase, $25 or more. You don't even have to leave receipt, which means you don't even have to drink and drive, which is a beautiful thing. And when you do drink your beers from Tavour, do not drink and drive. We are a safe podcast here and gamble safely too. We appreciate y'all. Have a beautiful New Year's. Enjoy the college football playoff. We're gonna be Buckeyes fans this weekend, baby. Let's go.